Let's get you caught up on your coronavirus headlines. Here's what we're tracking for you this morning. The U.S. death toll now tops 90,000 with more than 1.5 million total cases. And almost every state has now relaxed stay-at-home orders. Massachusetts also allowed some businesses to reopen yesterday, and Connecticut will ease its rules tomorrow. Meantime, NFL teams can begin to reopen facilities today with restrictions, of course, and only if local governments allow them to.
Let's talk about phase 2 of reopening. Governor Abbott made a couple big announcements yesterday, and I'm going to outline some of them for you. So effective yesterday, childcare like daycares, YMCAs, those could open back up. Same with youth clubs like Boys and Girls Club. Also allowed to open massage parlors and personal care centers, electrolysis, waxing, tattoo and piercing studios, as well as hair loss treatment facilities. Now looking ahead to Friday, this is the date that bar owners have been pushing for. They wanted to reopen, and now they can at 25% capacity with some social distancing guidelines in place. Restaurants can also expand their capacity to 50%. Entertainment venues like bowling alleys, bingo halls, skating rinks, and aquariums can also open this Friday, but not zoos. Those have to wait until the 29th. We haven't heard from the Houston Zoo yet about details for reopening. We expect to find those out later this week. Now, youth camps, day camps, overnight camps, those can start back up on May 31st, as can professional sports. No spectators are allowed, though. That is also the day that practice can start for youth sports. Games can be played on June 15th. Xavier?
Brandon, breaking it all down. We have that full list on our website as well. Well, this announcement was welcome news for bars, but the first trip to your favorite spot, it won't be what you're used to. Our Michelle Choi breaks down what you can expect.
Xavier, it has been a tough couple of weeks for bar owners watching from the sideline as other businesses begin reopening here in Texas. But come this Friday, bars, breweries, and wine tasting rooms will finally get to welcome customers back, but with some changes. For starters, you won't be allowed to sit, hang out, or order from the bar. Customers will be served at tables which will be limited to 6 people at a time, and the tables will be 6 feet apart. Dancing is discouraged, and bars will need to make available hand sanitizers at the entrance, and no contact payments are encouraged when possible. But despite the new state requirements, bar owners say they are ready.
There's going to be an adaptation both for us and the customers themselves. They're going to have to adjust. We're going to have to adjust. But you know what? That's okay. Let's do it. We're just glad to be open.
Here are a few other changes customers will notice when grabbing a drink. Bars must use disposable menus and provide single-use condiments and silverware. And regularly touched surfaces like doorknobs, tables, and chairs must frequently be cleaned and disinfected. After that, customers and employees are urged to wear face masks. We're told employees must also be screened for COVID-19 daily. Guys, back to you.
Troy breaking it down. Thank you. Well, the governor has based reopening on the positivity rate of testing, meaning the number of tests that come back positive per total test results. He referenced it in his announcement. That was yesterday. He says we've seen a downward trend in that positivity rate from 13.8% in April to roughly 5% yesterday. And then when you look more closely at the data here, since May, it has ebbed and flowed, but we're talking about a 3% margin. As for testing, the governor says 25,000 tests per day are being done at the rollout of the state's reopening. He set a goal of 30,000 a day. Yesterday, the total number tested in the state was 723,013. Another measure the governor has often referenced is hospitalizations, which remain low in the greater Houston area. Okay, here are the day's other big stories, starting with multiple cases of COVID-19 at a Houston church.
Holy Ghost Catholic Church has announced no more masses in person. 5 members of a religious order have tested positive for COVID-19, and there are fears another priest may have contracted the virus before he died. Father Donald Kirchner was a priest at Holy Ghost. He passed away last week at the age of 79. The church is strongly encouraging anyone who attended Mass at Holy Ghost since the reopening to monitor their health and get tested.
I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine. Right now, yeah.
President Trump says he's taking a controversial drug to keep him from catching the virus. The FDA says it should only be used for patients being monitored in a hospital.
Wearing a face mask out in public has become linked to your political ideology. A recent AP poll found 76% of Democrats are more likely to wear masks in public compared to 59% of Republicans. Experts say linking public health decisions to politics is dangerous.
A new warning for nursing homes. Federal authorities suggest all residents and staff test negative for at least 28 days before resuming visits at nursing homes. Relief for renters. Today, the Harris County Commissioner's Court is expected to vote on a fund to help renters at risk of eviction. Eviction hearings can start today with final orders starting next week. And those are the big stories on this Tuesday morning. Time now is 5:07. Big news in the race for a coronavirus vaccine. One trial is showing positive results so far, but there's still a long road ahead. Marcelino Benito connects the dots.
A very small study of a potential coronavirus vaccine is making big headlines, but it may be a little premature to start celebrating. Let's connect the dots. Let's face it, good news is in short supply these days, which is probably why the announcement from Moderna made such big news. The biotech company says its vaccine is showing positive results, and while that is promising, it is still in the very early stages. Here's what we know. The company reports a preliminary test in 8 volunteers showed that the vaccine is safe and appear to stimulate an immune response. In fact, the volunteers appear to have antibodies, similar to patients who had recovered from COVID-19. But that raw data has not been published or shared publicly, meaning other scientists have not been able to fact-check those results. Moderna has given the data to the FDA and is now moving forward with phase 2 of its trial, testing the vaccine on hundreds of people. A third phase this summer will involve thousands of volunteers, and even if it passes all those trials with flying colors, the vaccine will not be available until the end of this year or the beginning of next year. The good news is they are just one of several companies working on a vaccine and testing in human trials. Connecting the dots, I'm Marcelino Benito for H-Town Rush.